This is Jim Bratton Podcast, Business Edition. In-depth conversations with entrepreneurs and business owners. Now, here's Jim.
Today we're talking to Kari Hale. And Kari, your company is called Angelle Insurance?
That's correct.
Kari, how long have you had this company?
Since 2006, I've been in business.
And you have a space here at Marmo, then? You're located at Marmo.
I do. I do have a space here at Marmo, and I have a full office in my home, too, that I use.
Yeah, Marmo serves good in that purpose, doesn't it? It does serve a good purpose in that respect, I think.
They really do. It's a great facility. I love their flex office options, and you got to love that you can come and get a conference room whenever you need it.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
It works well for many, many businesses. And tell me about Angelle Insurance, okay? You said you had it since 2006.
Yeah.
So started, why, how, and what do you serve typically then?
You know, I started in insurance as a little CSR with farmers, working with farmers agents. And I'll be transparent. I was like, this is not for me. Like, insurance is not my game.
And a CSR is?
Customer service rep.
Oh, you were on the phone.
And yes, I was the girl answering the phone and writing your car policy and your homeowners and windstorm. And I would leave insurance and I'd kind of migrate back into insurance. Yeah. And so I ran a health and life office as an executive assistant for a while. And I really kind of got the fire to get my license then. Yeah. So I got my license in 2006 on the health and life side. So
okay.
No car and homes anymore.
Okay. All right. None of that. But health and life. And it looks like you serve a few specific markets here. Tell me how you drifted into that area, what prompted you to do that, and what you do.
Well, I really loved working on the health insurance side. Okay. And so when I got my license, I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like, I could do this. I could run my own agency. Right. So I just kind of made the jump with a hope and a dream and the knowledge that I had. And I started my business out of my house. And from there, I offered health insurance. I do Medicare, life insurance. I do group benefits if you own a company and want to insure your employees. And of course, supplemental things, dental, vision, cancer policies, things like that.
Let's talk a little bit about making this jump, okay? We'll talk about the detail about your products in a little while, but what was it like to make that jump initially, to just jump out on your own?
It was scary. It was really scary. Like, I really just had a hope and a dream. I was a single mom, and I just knew I wanted to do something bigger than sit behind a desk for another agent. And so I just kind of did my homework before I resigned from my position where I was at. And I got all my connections together at insurance companies I wanted to represent. And I said, I'm just doing this. I made the jump. And I started beating the street and selling insurance.
That's pretty nervy.
Yeah.
I was going to use another analogy, but it was nervy.
It was. And, that was back in the day, Jim, when we really could still beat the street with insurance. We could go door to door. I might have like donut day and just drop by and drop off my insurance and visit companies. I think 2020 with COVID and the lockdown, that really changed all that door-to-door walk-in stuff we used to do with sales.
And how did you adapt to that? What was that like to adapt? And like I said, we'll talk more about your products, but if you don't mind me asking a few questions about you, and because that sort of helps our listeners know how you formed this business and what you're like. But So how did you make that transition that was prompted by COVID?
It was kind of scary. I wasn't really sure what to expect, like most of us.
Right.
I had an office in Beaumont. I started this business in Nederland.
Okay.
And so at the time I had an office in Beaumont, and I did office with a farmer's agent.
Right.
And so we decided, instead of completely shutting our office down, we would really try to work hard to evolve into more video conferencing and doing phone call appointments, and still just trying to find a way to serve our customers without them having to come in and do the face-to-face meeting.
And still trying to make it as personal as possible.
Absolutely.
What was that like to go to a Zoom-style meeting as opposed to a face-to-face?
That was a learning curve, and I'm a face-to-face kind of girl.
I can sense that.
I like to see my customers. I like to hug them and hear about their day or their grandkids. And so I felt like it was taking that personal touch out of it.
I found, and you can tell me if I'm missing the boat on this, but I found that with experience with video conferencing, you can begin to replace some of that reaction where you read people
Yes.
Almost as if you were face to face. Did you find that evolving kind of representation with it?
I did, but it took a few years. I think those first couple of years that we were all living in a Zoom meeting kind of atmosphere, we weren't sure how to take it, and the customers were like, hey, I don't really like this, right? But now I think here we are in 2025. We've all been using these platforms to do video conferencing for a while, including consumers, and I think they've kind of evolved into that type of meeting too.
I think so. I think you're right. Now, you mentioned about how you got your lines together. How did you go about assembling companies that you represent?
Well, I kind of had the knowledge from working in a health and life agency prior to doing this. So I had made a lot of connections with people with Blue Cross and Humana and Aetna and United Healthcare and all these companies that we know. And so I just kind of took those connections with me. I let them know I'm thinking about starting my own agency. And they, of course, had a lot of really great suggestions on things to do, things to think about when you're starting your own agency. But it really was just my knowledge and jumping out there and being willing to put myself out there to let people know this is what I have to offer you.
I hadn't even thought about the fact that the companies themselves probably have entrepreneurial kind of things that they can offer you some guidance.
They do. They have a lot of really great broker support in all of these companies, and they always encourage you to grow and get out of your comfort zone, and they want to help you do that.
Yeah, well, it's to their benefit.
It really is to their benefit, more so than maybe ours.
So you're right. Exactly. Well, their interests do come first.
Absolutely.
Now, so this was in Nederland, Beaumont area, right?
Yes.
And that was that your initial market that you served in? And was it small businesses that you were going for, or individuals? Tell me what you built.
So individuals was really my bread and butter. The individual family market. And then we rolled into the Affordable Care Act law that got passed, and Obamacare and marketplace plans. And that was another learning curve for all of us, agents and consumers.
Oh, consumers in particular, I think.
I mean, it threw us all for a loop, right?
Yeah.
But I did concentrate a lot on Medicare and also group business.
Right.
And I love the Medicare market. I love my seniors, and they're just so much fun to work with, and they offered the best stories that I've ever heard.
Oh, I'm sure that it's a learning process and an experiential extension then.
It really is.
Nederland, Beaumont.
Yep.
Then came over, and now you're residing in Galveston now?
I am, yeah. So my daughter, I lived in Nederland for almost 30 years. My daughter raised her there. She graduated from Nederland High, but she's living her best life in Round Rock now. So my husband and I made the jump to League City. And we were there just a couple of years before we came over here to the island. Yeah. And he's been driving a train off the island. He's a locomotive engineer for a while. So this was a nice jump for him because it puts him right here at his job without any commute time. And, for me, I wanted to kind of trade off with him. He did so much commuting in my first decade of owning this business and driving to different terminals to work out of. So we just kind of made the switch, and I told him, let's get closer to your job, and I'll commute to see my customers.
Very good.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm sure that this whole commuting thing and the distance operation was sort of, once again, COVID being a catalyst on some different techniques.
Absolutely, yes. And I think, I feel like we've really overcome those COVID catalysts now. I really feel like most of the time when I'm driving back over to that area, it is for my older clients that really want to sit down and see you face to face.
Right.
I feel like my younger people are okay with the phone calls and the Zoom calls. It's what they do every day.
It's what they came up with.
Right. But as older folks, we're kind of old school. We like that face-to-face
time. Oh, exactly.
And
it speaks well that you have adapted to both those scenarios, because you have a duality there.
Yes.
You have your mature market, which expects that face-to-face.
Yeah.
And as you explore the younger markets, they would just as soon not even have it sometime.
You'd be amazed. I have hundreds of customers, and there are so many of them that I've never seen them face-to-face before, or we've only seen each other on a Zoom meeting. And that's how we know each other. And it's nice to have that because it gives us the ability to help people in other states and other countries. And I am licensed in multiple states. So that's a great thing for my customers that really want that personal time. But we can't jump on a plane and just fly in and see each other for an hour meeting.
If properly utilized, I think it can really multiply your efforts and your marketing efforts.
I agree.
Now, let's talk about the markets that you serve. You said you do a lot of Medicare. That's primarily seniors, I guess. That's 65
Yes,
plus.
sir.
So.
I do the health, the individual health market, which also includes the Obamacare marketplace plans. I am a champion seller of those. When that first came out, a lot of agents bailed out of the health and life side of insurance. They didn't want to learn it. And I just kind of had a different approach. I was going to learn it because I knew my customers needed to know it.
Good for you.
And so that was kind of my thought process when the Affordable Care Act law was passed. It was scary, but I needed to know it.
What kind of a learning curve was there on that? Because it was a totally different approach to things.
It really was. I mean, it was a massive learning curve. I think the biggest thing I saw was insurance companies, all these plans designs that everybody had and all these different PPOs and all those things started to disappear. They started to be priced right out of the market. You couldn't even afford them anymore.
Right.
So you really have to learn these other plans, these HMOs and other options that will help your customers be protected, feel like they have peace of mind and that they understand their plan.
How hard was it to explain to people that was innovative? Let's talk about a small business, for example. I assume that's a part of your business.
Yes, sir.
How do you explain to them the benefits of these optional insurance programs?
Well, group insurance is expensive. If you own a company and you're paying for a health insurance plan for your employees, you know firsthand what that costs each month. Exactly. So what I loved about the option with Obamacare and the marketplace plans was when they gave employers the option to help their employees come into that market where they could get an individual policy. Maybe the employer's going to contribute a little bit towards their premium each month.
Right.
But that brought down the company's cost, and it also brought down their employee cost, where the employee doesn't feel like they're spending so much every month on a group plan, too.
Those thresholds are different than many people thought they were, too, aren't they, in terms of income thresholds and everything?
They have, and those have changed tremendously since 2010. They used to be much tighter than they are now, where I think they've loosened up a lot. It's a bigger income bracket. It allows more people to come into that market and save money.
So did you have to explain to your clients how they could explain to their employees the benefits of that?
Yes, and I felt like a lot of times it was just easier to have a meeting with the employees because the owner could sit in, the employees could be there, everybody could have an open forum and ask what they needed to ask, and we just kind of went through all the questions together.
So everybody brought up to speed simultaneously.
Absolutely.
What a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think it saves the employer and myself from a lot of, coming back and follow-up questions, and it really puts you in front of their employees and gives you a personal connection with them where they know they can ask you whatever they need to ask comfortably.
I'd like to know more about how somebody would approach you. Who should seek your services? How would they reach you? And what should they know before they get in contact with you?
Well, you can always call me.
Right.
At 409-217-3888.
And you'll find that on the header information of this podcast, by the way. So
Angelle Insurance is on Facebook and on Instagram. You can always find me there. But I'm pretty easy. You can search me just about anywhere and I'll pop up.
Good for you.
Just like most of us. And I tell most of my clients, if you're about to age into Medicare, or maybe you're 25 and at 26 you're going to come off of mom and dad's policy.
Absolutely.
Don't wait till the last minute. Pick up the phone and call someone now so you can get educated on what's out there, what your options are. You can start shopping now. Maybe you can't pull the trigger just yet, but you can know ahead of time what your questions may be, what your needs are, and kind of cover all of those things without feeling pressured at the last minute. I need to get it right now.
You can have a plan, and maybe it answered some of those questions that are so fearful
Yes.
when they're unanswered.
Yes, and I think that maybe one of the drawbacks, I think, of the kind of do-it-yourself, go on healthcare.gov type of deal is people get in there and then these options are overwhelming and they don't understand them. Or maybe they call the 1-800 let me help you kind of line, and then that person might not really know what they're talking about either. You know, they don't care if your doctors are in the network or if your medications are covered. So I think it's essential to find somebody who not only knows this well, but can teach it to you too and make it understandable in layman's terms, because let's face it, insurance is confusing.
It is. As an independent contractor pre-Obamacare, who spent upwards of $1,000 a month for probably 10 years with a multi-$1,000 deductible,
Yes.
for which I never saw a nickel of that.
Yes.
The option of these kinds of programs is just amazing to me.
It is.
And if someone doesn't seek out someone like you to help them through that, they're missing an awfully lot in terms of the available health care that's out there.
I agree with that. I think, I think a lot of people are nervous to share their income because that's a big thing on the marketplace. And I understand that that's personal, proprietary information, and a lot of people are nervous about that. What I try to tell people when we're talking about that is, I'm not here to share your income information with anybody. This is strictly just me trying to help you in the best way possible and get you some affordable, good, comprehensive coverage.
What a great summary of what you do. Final comments that you might have to potential customers of yours before we wrap things up?
Well, I just want everyone to know that I'm here on the island now, that if somebody needs help with their health insurance, if you have questions, or maybe you just want to know about the plan you have right now, pick up the phone and call me. Reach out. I'm always here just to meet and talk about something in a non-salesperson type of way. Let's sit down and talk about what you have now and the upcoming open enrollments and what your options may be next year.
Give us those ways to reach you now.
Absolutely. So you can call me at 409-217-3888. You can always email me at Kari@angelleinsurance.com, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Angelle Insurance.
What a pleasure it has been chatting with you today. It's Kari Hale, and it's Angelle Insurance Agency.
Yes, sir.
It has been a delight talking to you. I've learned a lot, and hopefully listeners as well. Thanks again for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
This has been Jim Bratton Podcast, Business Edition. Contemporary business conversations. A Jim Bratton production. I'm Sierra Safel.